Welcome back, guys. You're still watching The Spot. It's time now for us to find out what our spot of music is. It's Ketchup featuring Davido with Baby O.
606 Music. Skilla. Is Davido. Ketchup on the chips, yeah. Ketchup on the chips are there. JFM9 do the beats. Climb the chair and climb the table. Everywhere the jam the heat. Simmer, what that is. And you know
he's got such strong features. Like his jawline and everything is super sharp and.
I think he has the widest smile in the industry.
Yeah, he does have
like,
nice. Like a very happy guy.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this is one of those videos that we often see and say, okay, well, yeah, it's that whole, you know, you're having a good time, you're at the club or you're partying. I'm not sure where the
play chess at the club.
Yeah, I don't know how that really features in this video.
Probably some gambling. Maybe
he wants you guys to know that there's depth in the club. You know what I mean? We could play chess in the club. What is he doing?
Which album was it I listened to that he had a skit in it? That was really funny.
That he did?
Yeah. Was it Flavor? Like you would never have thought.
Me?
I can't remember whose album. I don't know if it was
Yeah, I don't think
So he's not throwing cash to the girls or pretending that
It is.
it's his.
Very white now. Yeah. So one of the nice collabos, I guess, out of 2016. I feel like Davido hasn't. He's been kind of chill lately. Is it me? Apart from the foul song, like last month or so, or 2 months ago.
Here, because he's international, he's working his album and the sound.
Okay.
Oh,
So
okay.
he's spending, I don't know if it's true, but he's spending a lot of time there to sort of appeal to,
Okay.
Okay,
which
David.
could be a good or bad thing, because hopefully he doesn't lose out on the essence of
who
the
he
video
is.
by trying to overchange.
Indeed.
Yeah. Cool stuff.
Ketchup
Well done,
and
Ketchup.
David O.
We should have him on the show sometime.
Yeah. And be like,
If you're
why
in
you
town,
say-
if you're available.
Come with some chips.
Some chips, yes. And we'll bring the ketchup.
All right.
Moving on.
Time for our guest of the day to come in. She is
A performer. I feel like that's one of the best
ways
You
to
can't just say
describe
singer or she's an entertainer.
artist.
She's an
An
artist
artist.
and an artiste.
Artiste.
Okay.
She's
Yes.
art.
She is art.
Indeed she is. Let us welcome the lovely Timmy Dollface. Boop, boop, boop. Come on in.
Welcome. Hello. How are you?
I'm
Sorry,
very well,
trying
thank
to arrange
you.
I have
myself.
a bad interview right now.
Hi.
Hello.
know.
Good to have you.
Thank you.
Wires all over the place.
Hey.
How's it going?
Very well, thank you. How are you doing?
Good, thank you.
Nice.
This is lovely.
Thank you. Thank you. It's very what's the word? I'm hiding a lot under here.
So we've talked about, I think we've talked about it on the show, Hand-Me-Down Tuesdays, have we?
No.
Yes.
She has this hashtag where you re-rock
Yeah.
things from your
Re-rock,
mom.
yes.
There's one of your aunties that was just a slayer.
My aunt she was very
Like, and these are
experimental.
clothes from like the 70s and...
Yeah.
you know,
I think the beauty of hoarding, this is where hoarding
do.
you know, helps. And for some reason, I think my mom just knew she was having a girl and started keeping her
all her
clothes. And so I'm lucky enough to have pictorial evidence of her wearing some of the things that I'm
That you
wearing
can,
now, but
which
not
is-
for everything, sadly.
Yeah.
And she tells me about amazing clothes that she's given away as well. So that, you know, that hurts. But
So
you know.
does she give you the clothes or you just read her book?
Both, actually. They're things that she's still keeping because she reckons that she can fit into them. And, you know, after she's been at the gym. So I go and help myself to those and maybe put them back after I've done a hand-me-down.
Is this one of them?
Funnily enough, this is not really a hand-me-down. It's a replica of something that my mum wore in the 70s. She was an artist. She is an artist, and she wore this just like this to her art exhibition. And so she has a lovely picture of that, and I just fell in love, and so I've just made replicas because that one's falling apart a bit.
And we thought
yeah,
ladies just started wearing agbada recently.
Sorry?
And we thought women just started wearing agbada recently.
Everything's coming
Yeah,
back.
exactly.
I feel like nothing is
Nothing.
is
There's
original
nothing new
anymore.
under the sun, really.
Yeah.
So what's going on with you?
I just released a new video that I'm really excited about. It's called Beep Beep, and you know, a lot of blood and sweat went into that. It was like a big production, so I'm quite pleased that I finally pushed it out, because it's been, you know, months of work. So I'm quite pleased about that, and you know, just continuously working on some projects that are going to be out before the end of the year, and you know, non-musical things as well. And
Okay, non-musical like what?
I'd be telling, wouldn't it?
You're no fun. It's just us four.
It might have something to do with apparel, if you like. So yes.
Cool. Well, we're looking forward to that. I feel like your videos, like you just talking about how it took you months and time. I feel like your videos, they are these massive works of art. They're always different. You can't say, oh yeah, that video is like that, that video is like that. They're always extremely different, and it always looks like you put a lot of thought, passion, and work into it.
Yeah, I kind of do. I'm pretty all or nothing, and when I'm writing any song, I'm already thinking about what the video what the video is going to look like, and in my lyrics, it's pretty cinematic. So you can tell that I'm going to go to town with the production, and it's just something that I enjoy doing. I've loved to play dress up since I was a kid, so I'm thinking about the costumes. I'm just thinking about everything just coming together as you know, one experience.
Yeah.
And
that's a good way to explain an experience. Yeah. You want people to experience.
I want people to watch a video and think that was an experience, and I would like to rewind that and you know, feel it all over again. Because even in my writing, I embody different characters.
Yeah.
So half the time I'm not really writing about myself. I'm writing about people I want to be, or people I've seen, you know, and so a lot of that is, you know, the fictional side of things is fun, you know, being able to escape the, you know, normality.
Because right now, normal is tough. Right?
No, not fun at all.
Yeah.
All right, well, we're going to go on a quick break now. When we come back, we have our topic coming up for you. We'll see you in a bit.
Welcome back. You are still watching The Spot. We've been joined by Temi Dollface, and we've been getting to know a little bit about her. When I was introducing you, I said, what did we say? We said a bunch of things. We said entertainer, artiste. What do you describe yourself as anything, or are you just like, I'm just me? Like what?
Well, creative multitasker is probably the best way to describe myself, because it's a huge umbrella for all the different things that I do and sometimes have to do, just because you know, there is no one that I've found just yet, but
that can do those things.
I feel like you could easily just like
aligns with
wear like a weave.
Sorry?
I feel like you could really just make your hair like a weave black,
you
and
know,
wear like a dress, and nobody would know it's you. You know what I mean? Like the regular.
Yeah, you have a signature look. I think
it changes, I think, but I wear one look for a big chunk of time. So I had the dark hair, like from the Beep Beep video, with it's very 50s, with the side swept roll. I got a bit tired of that, and I wanted something a bit more edgy, and then, you know, I wanted a mixture of both worlds, long and short. So here's this, inspired by Cammy from Street Fighter, and all of that. Yeah. So I just wanted to be able to play more with what I wear and zhuzh it up exactly.
So you don't have a fashion influence?
Thank you. I was just going to ask. Sorry.
You don't have a fashion influence?
Oh, of course I do.
Who?
Betty Boop. Of course. She's one of them. Betty
Boop. Oh.
She's one of them, and then you know, my mother and my aunt, my grandmother. Yeah. My aunt was probably the more adventurous one, and I take more after her than I do anybody else. And you know, there are just so many people that, you know, one can look up to.
Yeah.
Rihanna is always slaying.
Yeah.
You know, so
cool. Alrighty, so it's time for us to get into today's topic, and our topic of the day is forgiveness.
It's a hard one.
It's a hard one for Zainab especially.
Wow. Excuse me?
Don't throw shade yet.
How do
She'll
you
forgive
know
you
that?
for that. Well, maybe not. So forgiveness is basically defined, according to Merriam-Webster, as to stop feeling anger towards someone who has done something wrong, to stop blaming someone, or to stop feeling anger about something, or
well, I don't know how you can put the definition of, you can
Why
put
you
the word
shaking your head
forgiving,
like-
forgiveness.
Why?
It's a hard one. You need grace from God for certain people.
Yeah.
You really do.
Yeah. So, okay, go
I
ahead.
was going to say, it's funny how when somebody's offended you or, you know, something's happened, you can never see past that thing. Like, you can't see the end where you do actually forgive them. It almost seems virtually impossible for however long it takes for you to heal from that thing. So, because now that I think about some people who maybe I said, I never talk to you again, I never forgive you, I'm like, totally over it now.
I was actually going to ask that. Is it possible to actually forgive?
I think
Like-
so.
Forgive.
Yeah.
Like psychologically,
Does it depend on how big the offense was or whatever it was? You can actually forgive.
I think you can forgive, but sometimes, depending on how big the offense is, you need a little help.
Yeah.
The man upstairs, because
Because I was going to say, there's some people who, you say I forgive you, you actually try, but like you said, every time you see the person, it still comes back.
yeah.
So does that mean you're forgiving the person? Because, I mean,
Yeah.
you still have that little bit of,
Forgiving and forgetting are two different things.
Yeah.
That's the thing, and I don't think you're ever going to forget, especially if that person made such a huge mark, you know, with whatever it was that they did. But I think you know when you're forgiven when you see that person. You don't have that massive lump in your throat, or you want to just.
yeah,
Do you know
the
what
rage
I mean?
doesn't.
It's just like
Yeah.
water off a duck's back. It's like, yeah, whatever, I've forgiven you, I've released you, and I'm moving forward. But I think that there are different kinds of forgiveness, because
Yeah.
there are those people you give another chance and you let back in,
And then there's people
and then there are the ones that you just have to move on without. Like,
Yeah. Because I mean, when I was reading up about the topic, when you mentioned that, you know, whether you can really, really forgive, and if you forget or whatever, there's like a whole psychological aspect to forgiveness, you know, and there's like a list which says these are the things that forgiveness isn't, because sometimes we confuse it and we're like, oh, we haven't forgiven, but we have. But there are some things that we need to know that forgiveness isn't. Like, for example, so forgiveness doesn't mean you are pardoning or excusing the person's actions. It doesn't mean that you need to tell the person he or she's forgiven. It doesn't mean you shouldn't have any more feelings about the situation, which is where I think we sometimes get, you know,
Tangled,
if you're
yeah.
still like feeling a kind of way, you're like, oh, then that means I haven't forgiven, but it might.
interesting.
Forgiveness doesn't mean there's nothing further to work out in the relationship or that everything is okay now. It doesn't mean you should forget that the incident ever happened. And it doesn't mean that you have to continue to include the person in your life. So those are some things that forgiveness
that's
apparently
like the loosest
isn't.
definition. Like, I'm just like, yeah, I just forgive you. Yeah. I'm still angry.
But I forgive you.
You know?
I don't know. I think it's
So what then is it? Is it just the intent that makes you forgive?
it's no, it's consciously letting
go.
that, letting go of the, you
Even if
know,
you still feel.
You
I
can
mean,
feel
just
a kind
like- way.
You can feel a kind of way, but I also think it's. Are you getting in your own way because of what this person did to you? Is you know, are you shackled to the past in a sense? And, And you know, when you see that person and it's like, and you can say hello, and you're not like, hello, almost choking, saying hello. I don't know. It's a hard place to get to though in some situations, but.
All right,
Sure
we're going to
is.
take a break now and come back to talking about forgiveness. Please stay with us, and we'll be back in a moment.
Hi guys, welcome back to The Spot, and today we've been talking about forgiveness with Temi Dollface in the house. I want to talk about circumstances that you think can't be forgiven.
Can't?
Can't, yeah.
everything can be forgiven by God. I don't think everything can be forgiven by humans. Like, some people won't forgive you if you poke them in the eye by mistake. You know, there are people who hold on to things like that. I think probably the biggest things, though, that are difficult or impossible to forgive are any kind of violation against your person or somebody that you care a lot about. You know, an abuser, for example, I feel like it would be almost impossible to forgive if somebody has repeatedly abused you or violated you for years, or even one time. I mean, for goodness sake, I think that's a huge thing. Or someone who killed someone. Like, it's got to be a dramatic thing.
Violations of
Against
some
you or
physical,
someone you love.
against
It could
trust.
be emotional. Yeah, I don't know.
I think everything can be forgiven. And we have so many examples
Right.
in life where people have actually forgiven almost immediately, even right after. You hear, oh, the police killed my daughter, I forgive them. You know, you hear things like that. But will everything be forgiven? No. I mean, and that's more a factor of different personalities. There are people who don't even forgive you because you stole their phone. Something that you'd be like, it's just a phone.
Yeah.
Same way that people who would forgive for killing their mother, but you would never. You know? So I think everything can be forgiven. It's more like the definition said, you deciding to, let go of it, and when you let go of how you want to let go of it, of course, is now a factor of your person. There's people who are just generally very forgiving.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's always a great thing, because some people take advantage of that.
Right.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, it's supposed to be what we are. And this is not even about religion, it's just a human thing
Yeah.
too. And it's even better for you as a person not to have that sort of burden, because you find that
Baggage.
most times when you have all of that load walking around with,
Yeah.
every
I think
time
that's what they
you
say.
see the person or hear about the person or come across anything that reminds
so
you of the
tense.
situation,
I think there's
it's just a lot of
There's an interesting learning curve or
Yeah.
angle to forgiveness, because if somebody doesn't do something, then you don't know about that part of that person. So for instance, somebody who lies to you or maybe is abusive, it's that incident that gets you to acknowledge that, okay, you have this in you. So I've learned that maybe, yes, you are a liar or you are physically
In spite of
abusive.
that.
And then
in
you can
spite of
see in
that,
other
yeah.
people as well. Probably helps you see,
Identify
identify
things a
some
little bit
traits.
quicker.
Yeah.
I think even
Somebody
more
else
than
like that.
more than the gravity, what I think most people might find really hard to forgive is when it's repetitive.
Oh
Right.
yeah.
Especially when maybe you've called out the person or you've told the
And
person,
they've done it.
and they still
Do it.
continuing that, but then it just becomes okay. Yeah, this is not.
Yeah.
Like
It's
with the
a-
abuse you mentioned.
Yeah.
Or someone who just generally lies a lot, and it's someone who's around you constantly and just can't stop lying. Maybe it has affected you in a way. I just so things maybe when it's a
Continuous.
thing.
Yeah, when it's like your life pattern,
Yeah.
and it's not like something that happened just once or twice. Yeah.
I also find it hard when the person isn't even remorseful,
Yeah, that's
and it's just like,
that's one of the worst.
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
just.
guys, it's just
how
because
do you
of-
forgive somebody that didn't even give you an apology?
Yeah.
Or doesn't acknowledge
That's a hard
or
one.
take
But
responsibility.
how
That's a
important
hard
is sorry?
Sorry?
How important is the word sorry?
Not the
'Cause
word. It's the. I don't know if it's the
'Cause
word.
I-
It's the
action.
somebody
Somebody can-
you really feel bad for
somebody
doing
can
something.
apologize and they can give you a very moving apology, but how does sorry satisfy you in that incident?
Acknowledging, I
so.
guess.
Yeah,
Action,
I think
because
that's it.
It's more
can just be
acknowledgement of
words.
responsibility.
Yeah. I think it's as you said, sorry has to be an action. Like I have to feel like you're really sorry, and I don't mean to say, oh, sorry. If someone does something that's so deep, that hurts you really, really, and they know that they did that, if it's somebody that cares about you, they will feel remorseful because they've caused you pain. So if that sorry is genuine and sincere, I feel like the other person, even if they don't forgive you, they'll know at least that you knew that what you did was wrong.
Yeah.
You're not giving yourself excuses, to feel like, that's just life, that's just how things happen, or whatever the case
Yeah,
may
they
Probably
try
more
to
than-
make amends, I think.
Yeah, probably more than I'm sorry, sometimes taking responsibility for the action, because it's different when you've caused hurt, but you're like, well, it was the devil. I was listening to the radio.
That many times.
that one.
I was listening to the radio a few days ago. This guy who slept with his daughter 4 times and actually claimed that
It was the devil?
that
He's
it was
mad.
the devil 4 times, and
He
something
called
about
in.
that he's also an alcoholic, so he doesn't have proper control. This was somewhere in Lagos actually, and so I just was
I was
like,
gonna say, how do you forgive somebody like that?
so someone like that. I mean,
Yeah.
he's not even acknowledging that he's done something like
Yeah.
that. I blame the devil, not me. So
The first time that happens, maybe go to church and talk to your pastor or something.
Yeah, but don't
so that
keep
the devil
tell
kept coming
somebody
back at
to
you.
Devil
stop
came and you're like,
you.
okay, I'll go. Like, no.
Yeah, so-
Gosh.
Taking
wow.
responsibility is definitely one of those things that I think helps with the process. If the other person isn't completely made of stone, they'll at least acknowledge that you acknowledged that, okay, yeah, I did something wrong.
But it
I
must
think
also be
that's what it
annoying
is.
when person takes responsibility and is like, well, this is why I did it.
No, is that,
you wanna
is that
understand.
an excuse? Or I mean, there's a difference between acknowledging and making excuses. You know what I'm saying?
There's
That could be
always,
an
there's
excuse,
always
like, I
an
did it because-
there's always an explanation for something,
I know. I don't
Right?
believe that that's true.
and maybe
whether
it
you
is.
accept it. That's
It's whether you accept it or not, because people just. Or I like to
I
not
cheated
think
because we were out of
that.
town. Is that that's an
Like,
excuse?
it's not
that
a
would make
good
me
reason,
stone somebody.
but maybe
in the
they
eye.
did just
Exactly.
cheat because you were out of town and there was an opportunity. I don't know.
The opportunity presented itself.
Yeah, that one's a tough one. Well, we're going to go on another break. You guys let us know what you think about excuses and justifications in terms of forgiveness. We'll see you in just a moment. Welcome back to The Spot. We've been talking about forgiveness with Temi Dollface. And,
I know someone named forgiveness.
oh, really?
Yeah.
Does he forgive?
I can
Are
say,
you-
the
what
teasing.
did
He knows someone named forgiveness.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Why?
The person Nigerian or Zimbabwean,
actually
because we're the two countries that have the funniest
Igbo is-
names.
Ebele is mercy, not forgiveness.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah. What's forgiveness? Mbagala. Okay.
Okay.
That would be interesting though if
Yeah.
there's somebody called forgiveness.
Person be teased mercilessly.
Did you say Zimbabwean?
No, it's
said
because we're the two
Zimbabweans
countries
and us.
on the continent
Like,
that have
give
like
those
the
kind of names.
like the most interesting kind of names.
Yeah. I think they are more interesting than us. But go.
So I wanted to ask a question about, like, when we're talking about forgiveness, do you think that the hardest people or the hardest person to forgive is yourself when you do something wrong?
For me, yes. Not for everyone. I've seen people just like, yeah, I did it. So
just
what?
screwed up.
Ride roughshod over it, and that's the end of that. But I'm somebody that's extremely unforgiving of myself. I can be, and so it's something that I'm constantly working on.
Yeah.
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 Is that like your actions or actions to other people or things you've done for yourself?
I'm just a
Or
bit of a
both?
perfectionist, so if I don't do something a certain way, or I could have done it better this way,
Yeah.
I ponder over it and think of how I could have bettered it and that kind of thing. So it's more that.
Are you guys? What do you?
I think I'm pretty similar. Quite hard on myself. Find it really difficult to just accept certain things and just, understand and deal with the fact that, okay, I haven't done this the way that I wanted to do it, or I've made a mistake. Move on from it. But then, however, there are certain things that I find easier to forgive myself and let go of. So if it's a project or something that I'm working on that has taken place in, let's say, January, and then I only realize in March that, oh gosh, it didn't go too well, or the results aren't looking great, I'm like, I can't go back to January.
Yeah.
I'm done with it now, so I can't kill myself at the end of the day.
You
I think why that is, I mean, we,
answer the question.
yeah, I'm agreeing with,
Yeah.
with what everybody's saying, and I think that's because when someone offends you, you have a conversation with the person, but with you, it's almost like one says yes, the other one says no, and that's constantly going on. You're like, but maybe you should have,
Yeah.
So that's definitely harder. I think I'm quite forgiving
Of yourself.
generally.
Okay.
I don't know. I can't be hard on myself, and it's mostly, with, like you said, career-wise or goals you've set and stuff like that. And I will go back to January still, unlike you, and be like, maybe I shouldn't have, and then you start beating yourself up for stuff like that. But I'm also lucky enough, if I can use that word, not to let it weigh me down too much, even though I have the conversations in my head. But yeah, it definitely is there quite a bit.
Interesting. Would you say you're hard on yourself as well?
Yeah, big thing to work on, I think. Better than past years, but yeah, one of the things to work on. I think yes, everybody probably has that aspect, a little bit of them. I feel like women tend to be a lot less
harder.
forgiving of self than
Look at you.
men.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, just because already there are so many expectations that life has sort of put upon you that
And
are supposed to be society,
as well.
So then when you feel like, oh, you haven't ticked this box, then it's like, oh, I'm not who I'm supposed to be, and it becomes this whole agonizing thing. But yeah, so
Are there people you should always forgive?
Well, the people that we do always forgive, our parents.
I hear parents should always be forgiven. I hear.
Parents should always be forgiven.
I wonder if they actually are.
No,
If they
because
always
you say
Oh,
something,
then they'll bring
today,
it back.
and then they'll tell you, that time in
Remember that?
1987.
Yeah.
I was like, come
They're
on.
forgiving you. They're just reminding you to make you a better person.
No.
They always have a way of making you remember the things that you did. But I wonder how it is for them, though. Because obviously there will be a lot of things that we do that they
Don't
hate.
agree with.
But
Can't believe.
and they don't, like, they might not voice it. So it's like, how do you still love this child but then
I think with parents.
but then I
and
guess maybe the
children-
love is just bigger than
Exactly. I
anything
was gonna
else.
say it's somebody that came from you. I kind of feel like if somebody
Came
who
from
literally
me.
came from somebody who's made of bits of you, it would be very difficult. You have to be a special kind of person to not be able to forgive. But then also it depends on the offense. You know, like if your child is a mass murderer or something like that, I think that might be hard to forgive. Although you would still acknowledge that that's my child and I love them, I just don't know where they went wrong or whatever the case may
But
be.
in that instance, don't you think that the parent would have some blame in their child being that way inclined?
Yeah,
saying.
sometimes. Although
That's why some parents are always
sometimes-
quick to say,
I don't
raised
know
him
what
better."
happened.
Yeah.
He's moved out.
Yes.
So I don't know who he met. Like many of the parents in America with the mass killings, and the parents are always like, well,
Yeah.
you know, this is not a child I raised.
Yeah.
He knows better, or I thought he knew better, you know. So there's always that.
I didn't
There
see
is
the
always that.
signs. Like the
Yeah.
Orlando shooting, club shooting,
Yeah.
parent. I remember seeing the interview where he was just like almost sobbing and just talking about, I just don't understand how, you know, he could have done this. And everybody was like, it's lies. You should have said so. You know, but yeah, I don't know. I feel like,
parents
We'll
Yeah,
never
it's-
know, really, because
Yeah.
we're not there, you know, in his house, you know,
Yeah.
seeing how he raised his child.
yeah.
I was going to say, there are people you should never forgive, but rephrasing it, I think there are people who deserve a tougher hand with regards to forgiveness. I know we're going to go on a break now, but I want to talk about government
Okay.
and when they fail you. We'll see you guys in a moment. Welcome back, guys. You're watching The Sports. We're about to round up our conversation about forgiveness. And before the break, I was talking about some people who deserve a tougher,
Hand.
a higher standard
Okay.
for forgiveness, I guess. And I was talking about the people like in politicians or government who promise things and then fail. There
Yeah.
has to be
Promise and
consequences.
fail, because you can fail and it's just unfortunate that you failed.
Yeah.
But in this case, we're talking about people who promised and intentionally refused
Yeah.
to deliver.
And they just went like, I mean, you can't forgive them. They have to go, right?
But forgiving them doesn't even mean that there won't be consequences. There
Anyway,
will still be
you forgive her,
consequences.
okay, I'll come and be good.
Yeah, I forgive you, but please next. Do you know what I mean?
Back your load.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so too.
Yeah, I just think that government thing it's going to be very hard to say that one should have a forgiving heart, because these are things that affect you every
Daily,
single day.
your life.
And this is somebody
Everything.
that is how many degrees away from you. So it's like, I can't even tell you that this is what you've done, this is why I'm upset.
Right.
So let's figure out a way to fix it. But you're like a non-entity.
Yeah.
Just
And it's harder when there are promises.
Yeah.
Right, because
And
then
you
there's
can see the
expectations.
promises, and you made them maybe over and over, and then you get in there just like,
yo.
And then you hear excuses, or you
Yeah.
hear reasons why, you know, or you feel like the people,
Stupid.
or you feel like the people are not, they're not sensitive to the
Yeah.
fact that these promises are not, or you know, whatever. It's just something that there's just so much frustration and anger that comes with that. You're just like, I can't forgive you because honestly, I really, really expected better.
Yeah.
Like I can't believe, and it's
And you
like this
told me this.
disbelief.
yeah.
You told me you was gonna love me
Yeah,
forever.
that's why those people.
Yeah. So it's hard. It's hard.
hard,
I was just thinking about David Cameron. you
Oh.
know, and swearing to keep the union together.
I
like
know.
if Scotland had left, like when they were going to leave, you know, things like that. It's a promise you made, and at the same time, you also promised a referendum. So
I know people that
balance.
still will probably never will not forgive him for a long
Yeah.
time for Brexit.
Yeah.
You know, I know that there's people who are they're like, he should never have done that. Now look what he's done, kind of a thing. But yeah,
But then
bigger
you
picture.
look on the continent generally. I mean, Africa has had its fair share of terrible leaders, like, very fair share.
Yeah,
But there's almost none in jail or in prison for, you know,
that's
you can count them like on one hand, people
Yeah.
who you face the repercussions.
that's
for
also
it.
because our forgiveness is not I don't know that we put
Shoot.
too much of a focus on them paying
or have
for
consequences.
the consequences really.
More like, okay,
And
you're out of
also-
the way, it can be.
And also maybe it's also because they've been there so long, they've also made sure that the system
Works
won't
for
work,
them.
in their favor.
won't work against them. Yeah, it'll work in their favor. There
They
we go.
just buy your forgiveness.
Yeah, they do that.
Yeah, some people
With
buy
a
their
few
forgiveness.
bags of
Yeah,
rice.
literally they are
Few.
forgiven for their crimes if they pay
Yeah.
back some of what they've taken. Hello, Nigeria.
That's a good. That's a good line to look at. How much is the forgiveness worth?
A bag of rice.
Yeah.
Not politics. I'm thinking of generally.
Oh,
If someone offends you, now
still a bag of rice.
Just a bag of
A
rice.
bag of rice. It needs to be dollars and it needs to be 6 figures or no, in fact 7 figures or more. Please let me know. It's I forgive you. Bring a few medium. No problem. I'm ready. Yeah. Okay.
Cool.
Cool.
Well, I think we should play a game because we haven't played a game in a
I
while.
wonder how
on the
much
show.
time we have.
I wonder how much time we have to play a game.
What do you? Is it time for us to go again? Am I missing this
Almost
out?
time for
I
us.
was having so much fun.
Let's actually talk about,
Okay, let's
what
talk about Timmy
you have
Dollface.
planned
Yeah.
Okay.
coming
If
up.
you want to, yeah, I mean,
2016
I know you're
running
keeping
up.
some of it close to you, but I mean, is there anything you want to
surprises,
share with
don't
us?
you?
An album? Are you working on an album?
Yeah, I have been working on an album. Obviously, I've been self-managed all this time, and because I'm a creative multitasker, I do pretty much almost everything. It just means that everything is much slower
Right.
with me, and sadly, I've had to choose myself, to take on this role because everybody else is either taken or their vision doesn't align with mine. And so that just means everything is a little bit slower, but there's an exciting project coming before the end of the year,
Okay.
a musical one. I can say that at least, but I can't give titles or any of that kind of thing away. But yeah, there is stuff on the way.
Who would you most like to work with internationally?
Pharrell Williams.
I
that
can
would
see
be-
that. I can
Pharrell
so
Williams,
see that.
Babyface and
Can I say
Dollface.
more? Can I say more?
Yes.
Tyler, the Creator.
Really?
He's so weird.
He's actually a genius.
I know.
He's an absolute genius.
And that's the problem when you're too talented and you just
Yeah, it's just the potty mouth thing. We can't be having that on the
like,
show.
look at his Twitter handle for crying out loud.
Sorry?
That's the only thing I know about him is his Twitter handle. To be honest, I just see. I'm like, what's going on? Yeah.
I like how he gets a reaction out of everyone. But apart from that, like even now, the music that he's putting out is actual music. He there's a lot of thought that goes into it, and you can see every different genre that he's sampling or channeling, and it's just really interesting how he mixes everything together and then throws the rap thing in. I think he's a genius. I would
I
definitely.
think you could meet him.
Sorry?
I can see that
I
happening.
would love that. He's Nigerian as well.
Yeah.
I can see that
Girl,
happening.
you better tweet him and be like, listen.
Oh, no, don't worry. I'll
You better
use the
check me
Pharrell
out.
connection.
You,
to-
to get there.
there's always a way. There's always a way. I'm sure you're like
Nice.
just 1 degree away from him, to be honest. You know someone who knows him, but for
Fingers
sure,
crossed.
for sure. Yeah.
Pharrell would be great though. I like Pharrell.
Pharrell would be really, really great. I think it would be great, actually.
That would rock.
Well, we are so grateful for you for coming.
Oh, I've
Thank
had
you.
an awesome time.
Thank
Sad that I have to go.
You should have brought
Thanks
some
for having me.
Some
vintage stuff for us though.
No, you can't give away vintage stuff. Nowadays, you gotta guard
I
that
could
jealously.
sell you some.
Replicas.
We're looking forward to that, actually. I mean, if you're doing something with apparel, so we're going to look forward to that later on in
Good
the year, as
stuff.
well as all your other projects. It's time for us to go, guys. Please forgive us if we haven't done all that you expected, but you'll be here next time. We hope. Thank you for watching. Thank you again, Timmy Dollface.
Thank you for having me.
We'll see you guys later. Have a great time. Bye. 1, 2, 3. Please sign our wall. Right there.
That's why we don't wait.